Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Youth Business Caribbean's webinar themed Accelerating Entrepreneurs Through Digitalization. We will first begin with a word of prayer. Let us begin. Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us to an entrepreneur empowerment webinar where we can hear from persons who are skilled in the field of digitalization to help modernize our businesses. Take us through this webinar with your grace and your mercy. With us as we present and execute to our fellow entrepreneurs. In your name we pray. Amen. Now I will share with you a bit about Youth Business Caribbean. Youth Business Caribbean is a community of established organizations from Caribbean countries, such as Dominica Youth Business Trust, Barbados Youth Business Trust, Jamaica Youth Business Trust, St. Lucia Youth Business Trust, Youth Business Trinidad, and Anguilla Youth Business Foundation. All young people working together who want to establish entrepreneurship in the Caribbean and believes optimally in trained entrepreneurs. This evening, we come together asking your undivided attention so we can help you accelerate your business through digitalization. We also want to share with you that we accept ownership and sponsorship from anyone as we provide empowerment. We do need this to help entrepreneurs. Sit back, relax, and enjoy our panel discussion with our digitalization experts. I will now share with you a bio of our moderator this evening. We will learn about him as I present. In 2015, Mvio Hodge assumed the role of Chief Minister of Anguilla's inaugural National Youth Parliament, following his prior involvement with the Anguilla National Youth Council and his 2-year stint as CARICOM Youth Ambassador. During the same year, he took on the role of managing his family's tourism magazine, What We Do in Anguilla. During its 25th anniversary celebration, over time, What We Do in Anguilla has evolved into a prominent marketing company in Anguilla, offering a wide array of services, including consulting, digital and print marketing, graphic design, videography, photography, and more. Mvio has also been a distinguished representative of Anguilla, the wider Caribbean, at various conferences. Notably, in 2022, he was selected from a global pool of content creators to deliver a presentation of World Camp US, WordPress annual conference focusing on WordPress, the next generation of content creators. During the same year, he was chosen by the ECCB to attend Tech Beach, Jamaica. In 2023, he was also invited to present on the digital economy at ECCB at 40 Youth Symposium in St. Kitts and also at the Youth Economy Agency St. Lucia Youth Investment Forum. In recognition of his outstanding contributions, Mvio received the Minister of Youth Affairs Excellence in Leadership Award in 2016 and was honored as part of the 2018 National Men's Week cohort for his dedication through What We Do in Anguilla. In 2019, he successfully graduated with a bachelor's degree in business management from University of Sheffield in the United Kingdom. Throughout his 3 years of study, he actively participated in numerous networking opportunities and even served as student ambassador for his university. In 2020, Mvio, alongside his sister Giselle Hodge, embarked on a new venture known as Quest Experiences. This business leverages the skills, knowledge, and network acquired through their work on What We Do in Anguilla to provide tourism and locals with immersive local experiences that are bookable online. The aim is to enhance Anguilla's tourism by showcasing its rich culture and history, thereby ensuring its preservation for future generations. In 2022, Quest Experiences received accolades from the Department of Youth and Culture during the 2002 Youth Awards and 2022 Culture Awards. Additionally, it was nominated 2 awards in Anguilla Chambers of Commerce Starry Nights Gala Awards in 2023, especially in the categories of delivering excellence and innovation. Currently, Clemvio Hart serves as chairman of the Anguilla Youth Business Foundation and holds the position of deputy chair of the Anguilla Social Security Board. He is a passionate advocate of youth development, entrepreneurship, and the pursuit of meaningful solutions to societal challenges. I now take this time to hand over the virtual lectern to our esteemed digitalization moderator, Mr. Clemvio Hart.
Thank you very much, Monica. And it's a pleasure to be speaking to all of you today. What better way to engage on such a topic as accelerating entrepreneurs through digitalization than through the digital means? We have at this time connected persons from all across the region to be able to share with each other our skills, our listening audience. At this time, I'd like to point to the chat that is below. For those of you who are on Zoom, you can share where you're from at this time, just so we can get an idea of who's listening in. In addition, there's a question and answer, and along the way, as you are listening, you can, you can drop some questions in there, and we'll address them at the end of today's session. So at this time, I have the distinct pleasure of sharing with you all our first presenter, who is Mr. Phillip Jackson. Phillip Jackson is a digital business and development specialist by profession, with over 20 years of policy and project-oriented experience working with the Caribbean region institutions, including the Caribbean Export Development Agency, Caribbean Development Bank, Compete Caribbean, and the government of Singapore. His areas of interest include digital economy, innovation and technology, trade and economic development. Currently, as an advisor, innovation and digital business at the Caribbean Export Development Agency. He plays a strategic role in promoting digital business. He conceptualizes, develops, and executes projects to increase the adoption of innovative tools and technologies by businesses, emphasizing digitalization through technologies like e-commerce and online platforms. He manages various regional projects related to digital business development and technology adaptation, including the Virtual E-commerce Accelerator Program, the Caribbean Digital Transformation Institute project, and the EU LAC Digital Accelerator Program. Phillip is a PhD candidate at the Sir Arthur Lewis Institute of Social and Economic Studies, UE Cave Hill campus, focusing on the digital economy, digital trade, and the prospects for small states' economic development. He holds a postgraduate certificate in IP and technology commercialization from the University of California, Davis, and a master's in innovation management and entrepreneurship from Manchester Business School, UK, and a bachelor's with honors in biological sciences from Universidad de Oriente, Cuba. Phillip is keenly interested in niche innovation possibilities for developing countries at the intersection of technology, consumer, and digital partnership trends. Digital development in small states is a priority area of his research focus. His approaches to engaging with modern development challenges are largely guided by a self-styled rubric: Society 3.0, Digital Democracy, and the Rise of the Mobile Majority, writing and presenting at various regional and international conferences, addressing issues such as the digital economy and society, and digital trade and the prospects for small states and economic development. I would like to take this time to welcome Mr. Phillip Jackson, who will take the lead at this time.
Very much, Clemview. Just listen to your introduction, I got immediately scared, man. So I'm very happy to be here and to share with you for the next 10 minutes or so on the important topic of how, as an entrepreneur, you can determine where you are in your digital transformation journey. So just a bit about Caribbean Export Development Agency. So we are the leading private sector development agency that was established by an intergovernmental agreement among CARIFORUM countries. And our main task is to help to develop the private sector to become more competitive. And currently our strategic focus is on areas of like digitalization, green economy and green technology adoption, and smart agriculture. And of course, we serve 15 member states of CARIFORUM, and we work closely with different development partners in the region that are focused not only on private sector development, but development in general. And some of our key partners also include business support organizations, ministries of private sector development, ministries of the economy and finance, and also the investment promotion agency. So we are very keen on building not just the capacity of businesses, but we're also keen on building the ecosystem of partners that provide support to businesses. And we do so through capacity building, we do so through technical support and also through grants. Now, for today's presentation, we're gonna look at briefly what is digitalization and why. And we're gonna look at some evidence from the Caribbean. Then we're going to look at the Digital Maturity Index and its relationship with how to determine where you are in the digital transformation journey. We look at the why of such a journey, how, and I'm going to introduce to you our digital checkup tool, which is part of our Caribbean Digital Transformation Institute project. And then briefly, we talk about some next steps. Normally, when people hear the term digitalization, and the other terms that sometimes sound similar, but are not exactly alike, like digitization, and also you have digital transformation. We're gonna just spend a few minutes just to untangle what these terms mean so that we can get better understanding of what we're focusing on. What we're focusing here is on digitalization journey. So digitization is really about converting analog things to digital things. In other words, like for example, you might have photographs in an album, you might have printed material, and you want to be able to convert them in a format that can be used on a computer or digital device, or also be transmitted over the internet. That's what digitization basically is. So like a scanner, or you may take a phone and take a picture of a printed photograph in an old family album, and immediately that's digitization. Of course, with the advent of smartphones, almost everything we do with the smartphone immediately digitizes. But of course, there are old records we call analog records that we have to either scan, or we might have to maybe take photographs, etc., to digitize them. And digitization is part of digitalization and digital transformation. So the other term is digitalization, and that is really bringing digital technologies to what you're accustomed to doing. So, for example, let's look at the transport sector, like the taxi sector that exists on its own. But when Uber came along, it added a platform and digitized the process so people can now hire a ride and so on using digital technology. That is an example of digitalization. Also, like processes that you are accustomed to do in the office, if you now starting using things like SharePoint or OneDrive to share and collaborate with others, or Microsoft Teams, that is an example of digitalizing office processes that otherwise were done manually. And digital transformation now is using digitization processes and digitalization processes to transform the way you do business, your business model, so that you start adding things like data analytics and using this data to give you insights to how to better reach and serve customers, or how to have your value chain better connected together, or how to identify potential opportunities going forward. So you can see there's a gradual complexity in all of these three things. And the ultimate goal of digitization and digitalization is the digital transformation of your business. And I'm sharing this slide so you can look at it later. So it's an example comparing these three concepts and along three different areas, and using an example there. Now, why digitalization? What are the benefits? Now, some of the benefits is like you're improving your business processes, increasing efficiency. Yeah. Ultimately, all of these are internal aspects, but why are you doing it? To increase customer experience, because increased customer experience and enhanced customer satisfaction can lead to increased sales, because customer retention and repeat sales and so on. So digital transformation allows you to do all of these things. And also very critical, it provides a basis for data-driven decision making. And so I think it's worthy. And one very, very pragmatic reason is that many people engage with businesses online now. So you have to be present, and you have to have the sort of processes that capture and engages with your customers through the entire journey, so that you can maximize the benefit of insights and data gain from your interaction with your customers. Right, so in the Caribbean during COVID, and COVID is, if anything, was one event that brought into very stark contrast the real reason why we should digitalize our businesses. And many of the areas that were affected during COVID is staffing, cash flow marketing, sales, etc., supply chain disruptions, and etc. And only those companies who were able to pivot very quickly and move online, whether to stay engaged with customers or receive payments and receive orders and receive payments, etc., and follow up, were able to do well during COVID. So if anything at all, disruptions due to Black Swan events or major events like pandemics, etc., is a good justification for us to consider digitalization and digital transformation of what we do. Now, one way of helping you along the journey of digital transformation is to do an assessment of where you are as a business relative to the adoption of digital technologies, to digitization, to digitalization. And a very important tool is what we might call a digital maturity index or assessment. And so it starts with the whole process. You start with a diagnostic tool, maybe a series of questions that asks you to say exactly where your business is relative to different domains of digital transformation, and I'll show some of that later on. Then these diagnostic allows you to identify your weaknesses and the gaps. And with that knowledge of your weaknesses and your strengths and your gaps, you can now, with the help of others and your team, formulate a strategy. And that strategy can lead to a digital transformation plan. And from that plan, you can actually devise an investment plan so you know what you want to prioritize and how much it's going to cost you. And so you go through that entire process, and after your investment, you check again later on, you go back to diagnostic, you repeat the process and say, okay, we intended to do this. This is where we have gotten, this is where we fell short. And so you start the process over again. So a diagnostic checkup, a digital checkup, helps your business to achieve digital maturity and help you to move from analysis to implementation. Now, at Caribbean Export, and we're very keen, as I said, on building our ecosystem of partners. And so we have a digital checkup tool that is part of what we call the Caribbean Digital Transformation Institute. And the digital checkup is online, and it measures your maturity, how much you're doing, how much technology you're adopting along 6 domains, mainly digital technologies and skills, how you do communication and sales, how your organization and people interact with each other, how you do data analytics, how you do processes, and an overall strategy. And then it would provide you with a report and recommendations, and also a record of where you are now, so that in the future, if you take the checkup tool again, then you'll be able to compare where you were the first time you took it. So that is critical. And so this is what the tool looks like if you were to visit it online. I'm not going to take you to the live now. I was intending to, but I could share the link in the chat. But this is what the front page of the checkup tool looks like. And of course, this is a actual snapshot from the results of one of the companies that completed our digital checkup. So you can see it has 4 different levels: starter, which is more like novice, then beginner, then proficient, and advanced. And you can see this person score along the 6 dimensions that I just mentioned. So in terms of digital technologies, this company was assessed as a starter, as a novice in digital technologies adoption. However, when you look at the organization and people, they got a proficient score. And so the score varies. So this is exactly how, when you complete the digital checkup tool, you will get a complete PDF document with the results, disaggregated, and recommendations for each of these domains of digital transformation, so that you can plan your strategy based on these results. So this is really critical, and you get a chance to work together with business support organization. And if there are any business support organizations on the webinar, a business who completes this checkup can now come to you with the results and say, hey, this is what we found out. We need your help to help us to devise a strategy and a plan and an investment plan. And so we have resources ready and available to support business support organizations, to help businesses who would have conducted their digital checkup and now want to move to the next level. And so as part of the next steps, I just want to say to you that the Digital Transformation Institute project, so after you get your results from the digital checkup, you're able to access specialized learning on our e-learning management platform. And it would recommend courses that are consistent with your digital checkup results. And then, of course, you gain the knowledge, and then you implement your plans that you would have developed. And maybe after 6 months, you could do the checkup again and repeat the process. But also, we're also using data and insights gained from the checkup to inform policies in your country. So we're developing digitalization policies for those countries who have recognized the need to do so, and we would share that with them. And all of this data would go on a public data visualization dashboard. So you can play around with the data and ask different questions of it under different scenarios using different filters. So in closing, we have a tool that can help you to determine where you are on the digital transformation journey. It's already been used by over 100 businesses. You too can use it. You can get your results. You can take those results and work together with us or business support organization in your country to help to devise a strategy that is consistent with your digital maturity level and an implementation plan. So we look forward to discussing more of this in the question and answer period. And so thank you so very much. And I look forward to answering your questions.
Thank you very much, Phillip. And it was a lovely presentation from you. You left us with a really good question. Where are you on your digital journey? What is your business's digital maturity? At this time, I'd like to welcome all of those who are joining us by way of the Zoom and also Facebook. For those of you who are just joining, you can let us know where you are from in the chat. You can also drop us some questions in the question and answer section at the bottom of Zoom so that persons can answer them at the end when we are doing our question and answer segment. Continuing on, we have Mr. Robert Tonge, who's our second presenter. Robert Tonge is a serial entrepreneur focused on establishing profitable companies that in turn benefit the community. His focus is on training and mentoring internal customers to provide our external customers with consistently excellent customer service, which will result in loyal customers. Robert is passionate about giving back to the community and helping those in need. Robert continues to be a serial entrepreneur and currently serves as a coordinator of the digital economy of Dominica. He's also the owner of one of Dominica's largest freight forwarders with a warehouse located in Florida. Robert is also the CEO of Porky's Pizza and a few other startups. I'd like to welcome Robert, and we're looking forward to hearing from you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can I get a thumbs up if you can hear me? Wonderful. So the first question is, how much time do you spend on your device? And I'm going to give you 30 seconds to do this. All of you who are participating, I'm not asking you to give me the answers right now. If you wish, you could put the answers, but for Android users, follow these instructions. And for the iOS users, follow the instructions at the bottom. So we're going to give you 30 seconds. Let's see how quick you guys are. And for those of you who are there, please don't be embarrassed or feel in any way that your numbers are too high. It just means that you are really using your devices to your best abilities. So 20 more seconds. I saw a very high number for myself, so I'm going to do it one more time just to make sure that I have the correct figure. Okay, so my topic is crushing digital marketing. So as I would say, there's no such thing as getting rich overnight. And you who are entrepreneurs, you should know that better than any one of us. You're an entrepreneur, you're either an entrepreneur or you're an aspiring one. And I assume that your goal is to be financially free. Once you've embarked on your journey, or as you continue on your journey, your business must, one, you must remain relevant, you must speak the truth, you must have a great story, and you must communicate that very well. The way we do business has changed forever. And obviously, COVID-19 has even increased that trend. Today, many of us continue to communicate our craft, our services, our products by advertising them on the various following media: the newspaper, the radio, flyers and billboards, television, internet, and by word of mouth. But as we said, times have changed. How much time do you spend listening to the radio? Can you afford a television advert? Most of us will switch whilst we're watching a movie or watching television. Once it's an advert, we're going to switch to our phone. But most importantly, how do you measure the success of these traditional adverts? How do you target the clientele that you want to attract? Because you don't want every single person. You want a specific clientele to match the business that you're in. In Anguilla, in 2023, it was stated that the population was 15,900 people. The data shows that there were 28,000 cellular connections. Obviously, we are aware that some persons have 2 phones and some people have 2 SIM cards and maybe sometimes even 3. So that's equivalent to 177% of the total population. There were 13,000 internet users in Anguilla. There were 10,700 social media users. So this data indicates where the attention has shifted. It has shifted from the traditional means to the devices and the internet. But the question was earlier, how much time do we spend on our phones? So I'm sure some of you can start putting in your answers. We unlock and look at our devices over 57 times a day. And this is for the average user. The average person taps, swipes, types on their device 2,617 times per day. So we're always on our devices. The average time spent on devices is in excess of 5 hours per day. So I look forward to you stating how many hours that you spend on your device after you've done that test. So based on the information above, where do you tell your story? That is the ultimate question. The data indicates more time is spent on devices and on the internet. So in order to excel in business, you have to be able to crush the competition using digital means. So the importance of going online to access local and global markets. So taking your business online allows you to promote to your customers beyond your local area or your island, tapping into a global audience if you want to go that far. Increased visibility and reach. By establishing an online presence, your business becomes more visible to potential customers who are actively searching for products or services like yours. 24/7 availability for customers. So unlike traditional brick and mortar stores, your online business operates around the clock, allowing customers to browse, shop, and interact with your brand at any time if you so wish, using various chatbots. Cost-effective marketing and promotion. Online marketing channels such as social media and email campaigns offer cost-effective ways to promote your business compared to traditional advertising methods. So how do you do this? Here are the key steps. 1, you must define your online objectives. You must choose the right platform for your website. Then you need to build a professional website. You must establish a strong social media presence. Consider yourself to be a brand. Set up an e-commerce store if you want to do transactions online. Develop a content strategy. You must have a strategy in terms of what you're going to be doing. And then you implement online marketing tactics. And very, very important, you must provide excellent customer service to your clients. You then have to monitor what you've done. And then when changes are required, you make the necessary changes. So with regards to your website, you must have a website that provides pertinent information about your craft or your business. A site that is designed for best mobile experience usage. Over 80% of people are visiting your site from their mobile device. So many times persons design their websites for a desktop, but the majority of people are actually experiencing that from the mobile device. One that is optimized for voice searches. So nowadays, more people are moving to searching for information using their voice as opposed to typing. A site that is not static and has a blog function. Because once you type information into your blog, you can have it automatically post across all your social media pages. a store that one can complete and close transactions by accepting online payments and even routing delivery where possible. Your site needs to be vibrant. It cannot be dull. It cannot be boring. So in terms of your social media presence, do you have at least 4 of the following accounts? Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Snapchat, TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, Threads. I even think I forgot one. In Anguilla, there were over 8,250 users. I'm only using Anguilla because it's impossible for me to categorize all of the different persons who are on here listening from all the amazing islands. Instagram, there were 5,850 active users. And for Twitter, there were 4,350 Twitter active users in Anguilla. So as you can see, the numbers are huge. So you have to capitalize on that. So with all of these, you now need to have content. And with your content, you then need to tell a story. People love a great story. You have text with images, you also have videos. People always prefer a video, but not all of us love being on the big screen. You can tell these stories by posting it yourself, or the internet will provide you with the tools to accomplish only if you make the time. So you need to schedule a specific time to do your posting. That's one of the mistakes I made before. I try to do it at all times. Now I have a set time every day. I spend half an hour to an hour to make sure I do that important set of tasks. Or you can outsource this task to professionals. You shouldn't try to do everything yourself. Spend 80% of your time on the critical stuff, providing excellent, consistent customer service and marketing. Don't try to be the accountant, the gardener, everything. Otherwise, you're going to be spending too much time and putting too much energy in all of these things. In order to remain relevant, like I said before, you must be truthful, you must tell stories and communicate them to your target audience. And that's what the internet also helps you. You can send your messages specifically to the type of audience that you wish. Unlike a radio advert, it means everybody is hearing it who may not be interested in your message. Okay. So the plan is to improve your online presence by posting engaging content. Post 5 times per day, no less than 5 times per day. The content needs to also suit each platform, because what you post on Facebook and what you post on Instagram and what you post on TikTok and what you post on LinkedIn all have to be different to a certain aspect. Very, very important. Customers are going to jump at you when things go wrong. Address these issues very early, address the complaints quickly and with humility. If not, they're going to jump on your neck. So the faster you deal with the issues, the faster people are actually going to remove those comments and reduce the number of people who continue to say certain things about your organization. Some will say that this is way too much work, but I know you can do it if you set the time. I used to do this for 5 companies every morning while walking for 1 hour. So if I can do it, you can do it. And now I leverage artificial intelligence to assist and plan to post this content for 7 days in a row within the same 1 hour. So technology now allows you to do a lot more. I say this to you, many people get scared of artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is not going to take your job away from you. Artificial intelligence will take the job away for those who don't use it. So if you're a graphic designer, use it, because you can now produce 50 pieces of content as opposed to 10. So I used to post often compared to many others. I would post 3 to 4 times per week. And my results were that I would get about 20,000 views per month. From an island perspective, that is relatively good, because in Dominica, let's say Dominica, the population is 71,000. So in a matter of 4 months, I would cover the entire population of Dominica, theoretically. But now I post 5 times a day on multiple channels. So I have moved from 20,000 views to 150,000 views. And very important, your data is important. So I have a dashboard on one of my companies and I can see how many people have signed up. So now with 150,000 views, I know I get 100 new signups. And now it's up to my staff to call these people and ensure that they use the service. So again, by using technology, you can now measure your results, and that is extremely, extremely important. So you can measure the how many people see it, how many people actually engage in it, how many people went back to your profile views, how many people looked at your videos. Very important, how many people clicked on your content, because just looking at your content is one thing, but you want someone to click on it and go to your website where they can get more information. So again, all of these are very important and it is doable. If I can do it, you can do it. So again, thank you for listening to Anguilla, Barbados, Dominica, Grenada, Guyana, Haiti, Jamaica, St. Lucia, Trinidad, Tobago, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Robert. You definitely brought a lot of information to us here, and even for some of us to realize how much we consume digital devices, be it our phones, computers, and so forth. But the reality of it is, from my perspective, is that majority of persons throughout the world use the digital devices and services, and our mobile phones are like a tether to the rest of the world. But for businesses, it's a strong link to reaching our target audience at our own time, with the right information, and for the right people who can become our customers. Engaging with our audience is much like maintaining any relationship. And when we stop communicating, that link weakens. And you spoke on AI, which is a very new thing for many persons. AI is moving into majority of the sectors out there. I'm a graphic designer, and it makes my job so much easier today having AI as part of Photoshop or in writing and so forth. It assists so much. But for some persons, it may be something they might be fearful. And all it really boils down to is learning to take advantage of AI so that it doesn't take advantage of us. Once again, thank you very much, Robert, for such a great presentation. For all of those listening, you can place your questions in the question and answer section of Zoom so that we can address them at the end. I'm moving on now to our third presenter, Mr. Martin Hanna. Martin Hanna is a renowned fintech and retail entrepreneur who has made a significant impact in the business world. As a CEO and founder of Penny Pinch Inc., he has demonstrated a remarkable ability to build innovative products and systems that provide immense value to users. Martin's passion for design, product development, and marketing has enabled him to create solutions that are both aesthetically pleasing and functionally effective. He has a keen eye for identifying gaps in the market and developing products that fill those gaps, making life more convenient for people in the process. Despite dropping out of college, Martin's entrepreneurial spirit and determination have driven him to become a successful business leader. He has won several awards for his innovative ideas and has been recognized as a thought leader in the fintech and retail space. Aside from running Penny Pinch Inc., Martin is committed to helping other entrepreneurs succeed. He has a talent for guiding new business owners through the challenges of building and growing their businesses. His expertise and mentorship have helped many young entrepreneurs to achieve their goals and realize their dreams. Martin's dedication to innovation, creativity, and helping others has made him a standout figure in the business world. He continues to inspire and motivate people through his work, and his impact on the fintech and retail industries is sure to endure for many years to come. I'd like to welcome Mr. Martin Hanna as he makes his presentation.
Good evening, all. It's a pleasure to be able to present in front of this audience. Look forward to showing entrepreneurs, how fintech is starting to make an impact on the Caribbean and how you as entrepreneurs could leverage these solutions to grow your revenue. So let's look at some of the key pain points that us entrepreneurs face. And in my previous experience as a freelance graphic designer, I also understand the pain points in receiving payments and working with clients to get paid effectively. So, entrepreneurs on a daily face issues like just money management solutions where you want to see everything in one place, your cash flow, expenses management and whatnot. So there's not really a true online platform, or the banks don't provide much of a great experience when managing all your transactions. And for some of us who run our businesses, we depend a lot on receiving money from abroad, as well as even sending money abroad. And, our current forms of using that is quite traditional and very old-fashioned. And we need a better and more effective way of interacting with our international clients. And in general, for digital payment services like e-commerce, invoicing, digital payments, mobile point of sale services, it's been a big struggle for the average entrepreneur who wants to sell goods or services to go to a bank and get these things set up. So how are we solving these pain points? So the approach we're taking at Penny Pinch is, how can we build one platform that helps, both customers, solo entrepreneurs, businesses of all sizes manage their money and receive and get paid. So we're doing this by creating a one platform for you to manage all your money. Through that platform, you'll be able to receive direct transfers, either locally, regionally, or even internationally through our remittance partners. And then lastly, being able to access digital payment services to not only make payments for your business, let's say you need to buy goods or you need to pay for subscription services like your QuickBooks and your accounting, being able to get a business card or a card that's dedicated for your business to do so, and not also on the spending side, but the receiving side, receiving credit card payments. And to be frank, within the OECS and the region, we're still not there yet. There's very little players that are trying to solve these problems. The banks, while they're moving very slowly, they are making small progress, but we really need to rely on the fintech sector to power our entrepreneurs with these solutions. So while there may not be many penny pinches, players like us are trying very hard to release these products into the market. And we'll talk about what these products are. So if you look at our ecosystem, we do everything from money transfers, bill payments, and merchant payments. And we'll talk more about the merchant payments, because as entrepreneurs, that's where you get to benefit from digital wallet payments. So your customers who, let's say, have the Penny Pinch app will be able to pay you directly through the Penny Pinch app. And just to touch on a little bit more of what the Penny Pinch app is, think of it like an account where you could add money to it using various mediums, and then you could transfer money to it. So think of it as a digital account that you could sign up for directly from your app, verify your identity within minutes, and then begin transacting. So no longer do you need to go and open up a bank account, or if you're part of the unbanked or underserved who have a hard time opening an account, maybe due to proof of address or not having multiple IDs, we cater to that audience very well. So you have your Penny Pinch account, you're able to pay businesses, transfer money to your bank. We've also built out a huge customer loyalty solution, which will focus on, especially for merchants who want to drive revenue, airtime, prepaid card, which allows you to spend your money anywhere in the world, and even giving you analytics, allowing you to see, well, where's your money going? Where are you spending your money on? And that will help you manage your expenses and potentially see trends where you could decrease some expenses and increase your profit margins. And then a big win with our partners is the ability to send and receive MoneyGram and Western Union transfers. So we partnered with both of them. So hopefully very soon we're getting ready to launch that within the next 2 months. Right now, Penny Pinch is based in St. Lucia, but what's really nice about the central bank and their ongoing progress with digitization is that they're looking to release a new payment legislation which will allow us to scale within the entire OECS. So if you're an entrepreneur who's not in St. Lucia at the moment, we will hopefully be very soon able to serve you within the OECS. And for our merchants, we provide them with everything they need to receive their payments, daily reports, QR code offline, multi-cashier branch setups for your business. And we touched on a few of the items, but here's more of a more detailed breakdown of what you could do on the app. And just to touch on, more importantly, the remittance aspect, you know, I just met an entrepreneur who goes to MoneyGram a few times a week and has to line up every time. So why not save time by just digitally receiving that funds, moving it to your bank account, and you save potentially a huge burden of going to a traditional agent. So we're looking at ways to drive revenue. We're talking about time. Time is money. Our dashboard offers merchants the ability to manage a whole bunch of KPIs, analytics, generate reports, create offers that they could promote within our app. And we'll talk about, you know, how offers and loyalty programs could drive revenue growth in a moment. All right, so loyalty is key for any business to really encourage repeat customers, as well as find ways for customers to spend more. And, you know, businesses might find it difficult to start their own loyalty program, and that's where they could tap into, you know, our digital wallet payment solution, which allows them to set up offers and rewards and cashback. And we'll touch on how, or a few examples of how these have proven some revenue growth for our customers. Right, so onto the main topic. How can we leverage fintech or fintech solutions like Penny Pinch or other fintechs out there? Well, there may not be many. How can we leverage them to grow our revenue? So we say time is money. If you're able to save money, time waiting on a line, figuring out how you're gonna make your payments, driving to a customer to pick up cash, you could save time and focus on your sales, right? So the faster you're able to receive payments, and you know, we don't like to hear, I'll pay you next week. You know, as business owners, we need that money right now to sort of, you know, restock and recapitalize our inventories and whatnot. So the faster we receive payments, we could improve our cash flow and reinvest back into the business. And, you know, when you don't have to worry about going on a line or having to meet someone, you could really focus on more sales, you know, leveraging more strategies to acquire more customers rather than worry about, oh, how am I going to get my payment this week? And yeah, really emphasizing on the being able to get paid remotely with digital remittances. We believe there's a huge potential once we launch the two services starting within the next month or two. We expect that a lot of entrepreneurs who rely on using these traditional agents will use our platform to, you know, stay home and continue doing their work and just receive their funds. Simplified money management. So within, and I'll put this in context of Penny Pinch, you know, being able to see all your transactions in one place, generating reports, and really understanding your money and as a business, how it's coming in and going out. And, you know, every business has bills to pay, whether it be a phone plan, a water bill, electricity bill, or even paying your own employees. Being able to put all of that within one platform eases the burden of, I have to go to this bank to do this transfer, I have to go to this website to pay this bill, this other app to pay this bill. So we were trying to consolidate everything into one platform, ultimately just making it easier for you to understand, you know, where your money is going. So expand your reach. If, for example, you're based in the Caribbean and you sell digital services, you sort of want to expand where you sell them. And if you can't get paid from someone in the US or UK very effectively, then it kind of becomes hard. And that's why, you know, solutions like the digital remittance can really empower entrepreneurs to think beyond the Caribbean and beyond their island and think, oh, wow, now I have an avenue to receive payments, not just locally, but now I'm empowered to receive it internationally. So allowing you to expand your customer base and your potential market size. Lastly, maximizing sales. So how can you use or make use of loyalty programs to not only make customers spend more per transaction, but also get them into a repeat behavior. And we've seen, for example, merchants make use of birthday rewards, as well as punch card rewards, where let's say they make 3 purchases, and then their next purchase would be 10% cash back. And we like to use cash back because it's instant, it's instantly valued. It's not like a discount where you get cash back instantly. So we make use of that on our wallet and we provide our merchants with the ability to set up a whole bunch of rewards. They're able to set up cash back for customers. One of our main merchants, so KFC, who was a merchant of ours, they would have given I believe it was a $5 cashback offer. If the customer spent a minimum amount. And what we noticed is that customers who used that offer actually spent more on average than the average transaction without penny pinch. So that goes to show you that incentives do work. It does give customers attraction to spend more because they think they're getting more value out of the savings. So it's great to think of nice ways to leverage loyalty as a way to drive new revenue or increase revenue. Now let's look at trends. So the whole idea of having everything in one platform is to also empower you with data, allow you to look at charts, manage very strategic KPIs like what's your average customer value, what's your churn rate, how often do customers come in and make payments. These are things that you're not able to know with traditional cash payments unless you're really tracking who your customers are. And it goes further when you use a platform with a fintech, because now we're able to give you sort of aggregated data. We can now tell you, 60% of your audience is male, or, majority of your audience who makes payments with us is between the age of 25 and 40. You can now use that data and target customers through Facebook ads that sort of mimic or match that audience type. So data, and here's another example. Let's say over time you see that on Tuesday is one of your slow days, right? You notice that Tuesday is a slower day. You could then promote an offer to customers, send out a blast, and they get notified. There's an offer for every Tuesday, $5 off when you spend $20 or more. These are ways that you could use data alongside loyalty to attract new revenue growth. So how can your business benefit from a platform like Penny Pinch? So if you're in St. Lucia, you could sign up and begin receiving payments. Let's talk about the immediate benefits that you would get. So, target customers who receive remittances. So we spoke highly about how customers are going to begin using our remittance platforms. So when they receive their money, they have to spend it. And if you're on the app and you're present, that might convert a user to say, hey, I now just got $500 from my aunt. Let me go spend it at XYZ store. I see there's an offer, right? We also are building a deposit network, a cash deposit network. And, if your shop happens to be near one, you could sort of indirectly benefit. They just got cash on their system. They want to now spend it. There's an offer nearby. We're also going to begin full scale marketing. So we're working with a lot of our merchants to, do pop-ups, create custom campaigns that we promote together, and just, get them engaged with us as part of our efforts to bring on customers onto the Penny Pinch app. And what's nice is a lot of our customers are early adopters, Gen Z, tech savvy. So you get to tap into the, younger generation as well. So just to touch on, more of our team and a little bit, and just to, close down the presentation, feel free to reach out to any of us on LinkedIn if you need any advice or questions about, payments or the fintech space. We'd love to have a chat and answer any questions. And to close off the presentation, I just want to say thank you. I hope this was meaningful and valuable, and thanks for having me on this panel.
Thank you very much, Martin, for your presentation. I think that you would have covered some very important points here. One of which is that entrepreneurs are problem solvers, and you are solving a very important problem for a lot of us who operate in the digital scape, being able to accept payments ahead online. It helps us to save time, and time is very valuable for us entrepreneurs because there's only so much time in a day. For me in particular, if I spend 5 minutes in a bank, that's a long time because there's so many other things that I could be doing at that time. The region faces that challenge. I've heard this issue from persons in St. Lucia, even St. Kitts, and there have been options that have been presented, each one with its own drawbacks, but hopefully Penny Pinch could be one of those solutions that can assist us throughout the region to be able to realize our dream of being able to accept payments online and be more digital with how we run our business. So at this time, I'd like to continue on. For those of you listening, you can leave your questions in the question and answer. We also have the chat for you to engage as you're listening. So our next presenter is Mr. Marlon George. Marlon was appointed Operations Manager of Digicel Angola in 2023. With over 10 years of experience in the telecommunications industry and extensive experience in customer experience management and operations management. He has proven track record of delivering outstanding business results through strategic planning, process optimization, and team empowerment. He's a visionary leader with exceptional communication skills, able to inspire and motivate cross-functional teams to achieve organizational goals and drive continuous improvement. Before Digicel, he spent over 15 years in online gaming industry in multiple senior management roles, including compliance officer and fraud manager, where he was responsible for managing and developing highly effective fraud teams, responsible for investigating online fraud, implementing risk reduction measures, including fraud detection and prevention, streamlining operations, enhanced regulatory compliance, and combating money laundering and terrorism financing. Marlon holds a bachelor's in leadership and PMPP certification from Trinity Western University and an IFCCT certification in international financial crime prevention. At this time, I'd like to welcome Mr. Marlon George, and we look forward to hearing your presentation.
Thank you very much. Can everybody hear me clearly? Just want to make sure I'm not too low. Yes, thumbs up. Right. Right. Can you see my screen? All right. Good evening, everyone. Now, I have the task tonight of presenting to you cybersecurity and data protection. Why is it important for you? Now, everybody on the panel so far would have talked about digitalization, how you're going to grow your business. So you've done all of that. You're now making money. Everything is good. How now do you secure all of the information that you would have got? All right. So first, I just want to go through a few topics that we're going to cover. We're going to cover what is cybersecurity and data protection. We're going to look at what are your responsibilities if you're collecting customers' data. We're going to look at some of the top cybersecurity threats. We're going to look at how to assess your risk. And then we're going to look at what's next. All right. So cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is simply the practice of protecting systems, networks, and programs from digital attacks. But I want you guys to switch your mindset a little. Look at cybersecurity as the brakes on your car. The brakes on your car is not there to stop you. It's really there to allow you to go faster. And it's the same with cybersecurity. It's not there to stop you from browsing the web, and exploring business opportunities, but it's there to allow you to do it and to do it more courageously, and opens the whole world to you because you know you are protected. All right? So data protection is the process of safeguarding important data from corruption, compromise, or loss. And let's look at what are your responsibilities. So if you're collecting data from your customers, you're responsible for using that data lawfully, not allowing it to be used illegally in any way whatsoever. You're also responsible for using it for specified and explicit purpose. So if you're collecting the data for money transaction, you use it for that and that only. You're also using the data limited to only what is necessary. Also, you are to keep that information for no longer than is required. So for instance, banks would typically keep financial information for about 7 years, depending on what information you're collecting and what you're using it for. You don't want to hold on to that information for longer than you need to. All right, so we're going to look at 4 of the top security threats that's going on right now. So one is social engineering. So what is social engineering? It is really one of the most dangerous hacking techniques employed by cyber criminals, largely because it relies on human error rather than technical vulnerabilities. So we've all received these emails that says, hey, you have to do this now. You have to click here because your account is going to be disabled. And sometimes we just go and click. They've got you, right? So one of the other things is third-party exposure. So criminals can get around your security systems by hacking, whether it's customers or vendors that you do business with that are not as protected as you are. Then third is mobile device vulnerabilities. And this is a big one because we would have heard the presenter before talk about, how many times we look at our phones. Everything happens on your phone now. You browse your websites on your phones. We answer business emails on our phones all the time. But is your phone protected? So according to Checkpoint Software Mobile Security Report, over the course of 2021, when we're in the COVID lockdown, 46% of companies experienced a security incident involving a malicious mobile application that was downloaded by an employee. So we really need to be careful. And then we have, of course, the Internet of Things. So right now we're all connected. We have Alexas, we have smart bulbs, we have smart plugs. Everything in our environment is now connected. However, the average smart device is attacked within every 5 minutes that it is connected to the internet. And experts estimate that smart homes with all of these connected devices will be targeted as many as 12,000 hacking attempts every single week. Now remember, your business computer is also connected to that exact same network. So what happens when they then get into your Internet of Things, your Alexa, your smart bulbs? They now have a way directly in to your network. All right, so I just want to give you guys a quick example of a typical phishing email that you would see. So if we look at the top, you can see it comes from the system administrator, who's Larry Brown at Gmail. However, if you look at number 7, who is it signed by? It says, regards, Mary Smith. Obviously, it's sent by Larry Brown, so why is Mary Smith the one signing the email? So this is typical rules that persons would use, hackers would use to get you to click on a link. So if you notice, it also includes a link, and the email reads, this email is to inform you that your account is about to be deactivated. You have to take this action now. You have to click on this link right now, or it's going to get deactivated. And many times, persons would go click on it because I don't want to get locked out. I don't want to lose this information, or I don't want to get locked out of my bank account. So you just click on the link and you fill in the information, and right there and then, the hackers have got you. So one of the other things is your password. Your password is your first line of defense. Now, we've had these situations where IT would set a password for you as a new staff member, and your password would be password, and you were supposed to go in and change it. You would be surprised how many persons never change it from password. They just leave it as password and that's it. And in those instances, a hacker can get into that instantly. Some persons will be a little smarter and they will change, the A to an @ sign, and then they would change one of the S to a $sign. Again, that would take a hacker about 2 hours to break into that account. And then let's look at something a little bit more moderate with some complexities, but again, it doesn't offer a whole lot of protection. That would take about 8 hours for a hacker to get into. Now let's look at an example of a very strong password. So this is Black Cat Plays Piano. But if you notice cleverly, instead of just having words, you have a number of numbers, signs. So this type of password is very strong. It could be something as simple as a line in a song or the name of a song, and you just use different symbols to put in there. And a password like that would take a hacker 800 quadrillion years to break. So there you have a strong password, and that's going to take a long time for somebody to get into. Now, let's look at what we share also via social media, because this is one of the biggest ways that people get a hold of your personal information. So let's look at a typical tweet, for instance. On this tweet, the person would have mentioned that they have a cat and the name of the cat. They would have also mentioned that they have 2 kids, and they would have the name of the kids. They're also saying, hey, I'm turning 30 today, so right away you can guess what their date of birth is, right? And then they're telling you what they're going to be doing later and for how long. When you look at typical passwords that are set up, security questions, if you forget your password, they're usually things like your pet's name, your best friend's name, your date of birth, maiden name. And you would have given a hacker all of that information just from going through your social media feed. So guess what? Even if they hit forget password, they now have access to all of the security questions because you would have supplied that right from your social media feed. Right? All right, so now 5 steps to performing a cybersecurity risk. So how do you know, all right, I have this risk, how do I determine what's my risk? So first, you have to catalog your information assets. So what devices do you use to access your network? Where do you connect from, and what devices are connected to that network? So once you've figured that out, then you want to assess the risk. So which systems or software are critical to your business? What sensitive information or systems must maintain availability, confidentiality, and integrity? Because obviously you need to make sure that those are well protected. And what devices are most at risk for data loss? You also want to look at which IT systems, networks, or software might cyber criminals target for data breach. All right? Then once you've done that, then you need to go ahead and analyze what is the risk. So how do we analyze what's our risk? So first, you want to look at the likelihood of a criminal obtaining access to our assets. Then you also want to look at the financial impact and say, well, all right, if they get in, what is my financial impact here? And then number 4 is you want to set security controls. So you want to invest in things like malware, ransomware. You want to have proper firewall configurations. You want to have password protocols, especially if you have staff members that are working with you. You want to make sure that they have complex passwords on their device. And you also want to introduce a multi-factor authentication. So it's not just putting in your password, but once you put in the password, you also have to go to your phone to do something, or it sends you a notification by email, and you have to accept in order to get in. And then last but not least, you also want to manage and be able to monitor the effectiveness of those controls that you would have put in place. So once you have those controls in place, then you want to have regular testing. So every month, every 2 months, let me go back, look at what I have, check to make sure that everybody's adhering to the policy. Because remember, as criminals advance and as the technology changes, you want to make sure that you're staying on top of that and that your systems can also stand the test of time. So what's next? If all of this information that I've given you is daunting and you're like, you're pulling your hair out and saying, hey, I have some risk here. What do I do? How do I get some help? I'll make it easy for you. So walk into a Digicel store, ask to speak to a Digicel business professional, and they will walk you through doing all of the assessments for you, and they will be able to scale up your security, whether it's just starting out with one malware, one ransomware, and scale that all the way and grow with you as your business grows. All right? Thank you so very much, everyone. And it is time for questions.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. George. A very thoughtful presentation there. And it's one that spans not only for young persons in entrepreneurship, but also persons who are social media users and users of the internet, because cybersecurity impacts all of us. It's also important to remember to check your passwords to ensure that they are lengthy, that they are not very easy to crack, because hackers will easily get into them, and also using two-factor authentication. Additionally, I'm sure many of us have had family and friends who have had their social media accounts hacked. Now, that may just mean the person took your identity, but what if that also meant that they have access to your finances? So that's how important it is to ensure that we use very strong cybersecurity in our daily lives. So at this time, we are going to move into question and answer, and we're opening the floor to our listeners who will be able to tell us a little bit about what their thoughts are on the presentations provided. You can use the question and answer section at the bottom of Zoom, also the chat, and for those listening on Facebook, the comment section. And we'll have our lovely presenters here answer them. And we look forward to hearing from you all. So we have one question for Marlon. What inspired you to launch Penny Pinch? So can we get Marlon in? I'm not seeing Marlon at the, sorry, Martin. I'm not seeing Martin at this time. He's not here at this time, so we'll hold that question for the time being. Okay. So for a general question, what are some of the main next steps for entrepreneurs after leaving this this presentation? We can pose this to all of our presenters, and I'd like to start off with Phillip. If you could give us your thoughts. What are some of the main next steps for entrepreneurs after leaving here?
All right, so quickly, someone had asked in a previous question if the digital checkup tool is free. Of course, it's free. The only cost is the time you and your team will spend to sit down and answer it properly, so you can get the maximum benefit out of it. I think as next steps, I always say digitalization can make something bad worse. Yeah. So, for example, if you have a bad business model, and digitalization is like accelerating in the wrong direction. So I think at the bottom of all of this is spend some time really trying to probe your business model to make sure you have a one that's fit for purpose before you start accelerating using digitalization. Because you don't want to make a bad thing worse. You want to make something good better. And of course, you learn as you go, because then you get this sort of data to improve as you go along. But spend some time working out your business model. For me, the next step is I wish everybody here would fill out the digital checkup tool, obviously, and at least use it to interact a lot with those institutions in your country that can help you to answer all of these questions, whether it's cybersecurity, whether it's online marketing, whatever the aspects of the digital checkup to create a basis for answering all of these related questions and point you and help and at least let you know what your needs are and find the right institutions in your country or maybe out of the country who can help you to go to the next steps. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Phillip. And for those of you who are listening, you can find the digital checkup in the chat. There's a link there, and you can fill out the form there to have your digital checkup for your business. I'm going to move on to a question here from Kyle, and this is posed to Mr. Marlon George. Is auto-saving passwords to your smart devices and services like Google Password Manager potentially putting you at risk for security or data breach?
Well, put it this way, if somebody then gets access to that, they now have access to every single password that you have. So there's nothing better than that good old brain. And as I said, it can be something simple. Choose a song, a line in a song that you like, the title of a song that you like, just keep it simple in terms of something that you can remember, and then you add your complexities that way.
Thank you very much, Mr. George. This one is to Mr. Tonge from Devian. What tools do you use for gathering analytical data from your website? Do you also use a CRM tool?
For the website, most websites come with analytics tools. I use WordPress. It's up to you as to what level of information you want to get. There's free tools, and there's also the paid version, so you can pay and so you can get more data. Obviously, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of these also have tools that you can use. What was the other part of the question?
Use a CRM.
CRM.
Yes.
The main business that I have, the software comes with an inbuilt CRM. Also, I use like a chatbot to provide additional service, so especially for after hours. And the chatbot also acts as a CRM also. I can save the person's IP address or their email address, so the next time they come and speak to us, we know who the person is. We can see where they're actually on our website. So if they're looking at a particular, let's say, package, I can actually start answering questions even before they ask the questions. So it all depends on the software that you're using, but there's many software out there that will allow you to do that. And if you want more data, you just pay for it. More analytics, you pay for it.
Yes. I do know of HubSpot as being a CRM that can be used as well. Yes. Moving on, we have a question from Tanjira. What are some good AI programs to assist with social media and content creation?
Everybody has different ones, and there's tons and tons of them there. I would suggest go on TikTok and just search for AI. What I use Publer, PUBLER.io. It allows you to create content. It allows you to get images, free images. It allows you to create AI images. It allows you to create the wording if you don't have that. And very importantly, it allows you to schedule all of your posts. So you can have like 50, like what I do is that I have like for one company, I'd have like 25 pieces of content, which means I can post for 5 days in a row, 5 posts a day without repeating the content. And as a result of that, I may get 200 posts, 200 views on each particular image, which is pretty good because when you multiply it times 5 times 30, the numbers just ramp up very quickly. And then very important, you need to tie that in back in. So for me, I look at my post. How many people go to the post? How many people go to my webpage? How many people sign up on my webpage? And ultimately, how many people buy? So I use all of these to kind of figure out what I'm doing.
Yes. A good tool as well, I would say, is Buffer for content management for social media. You can post on several accounts, be it Instagram, Facebook, and so forth. And it also has analytics for use in checking to see how well the content performs. We have another question for Mr. Marlon George. Vicky says, my email was hacked. Can a hacker access my online banking?
If your online banking information is in your email. So for instance, if you want to probably have an email where you're sending that information, password, then yes. If not, then you should be fine because they can only access what's in the email.
Thank you very much. Another question to you. Does a VPN really protect you when using the internet?
VPNs, I prefer using a firewall. VPN is really more for masking your location and your IP address. So if you have a VPN, say, I know a lot of people use it, especially for streaming services. So for instance, I can only access certain content from the US. So I put a VPN, put my location as the US, and then I can access that content.
Okay. All right, thank you. I'm gonna now pose the general question again to you all. What are some of the main next steps for entrepreneurs after leaving here? I'd like to pose that to Mr. Tonge.
First of all, I would say consider yourself, if you're a true entrepreneur, consider yourself as a brand. Because if you can start off with many users under your belt, it means it's easy for you to expand that to your new company. Because obviously any page that you're going to start off with 0. So if you already have 5,000 people who are following you, it makes it extremely easy. So always push out content on a regular basis. Don't try to sell. In my 5 posts that I do, none of them are to sell. Most of them are to provide information, a little joke here and there. And maybe after the 10th post, I'll ask them to actually buy a particular product or something of the sort. So like I said, treat yourself as a brand, have a good presence. And then in terms of yourself, just like a radio advert, persons are, if you want to remain relevant, you continuously have to put content out there. So save as much content and push it out as much as possible. Review it to see how many people are actually looking at it, because sometimes it may be the image that's wrong. It could be there's the wording. Sometimes just by changing the wording, it changes the entire engagement. So you just have to continue trying and don't be afraid. And many times we're afraid of what people are going to say, but if you're in business, you have to push your ads out there. If you listen to people like Courts, I can't remember the other companies in the other countries, but they don't necessarily have the best price, but because you hear them every single day, when you think of particular furniture, that's the first person you're going to think of. So likewise, if someone if you're pushing out sufficient content, the first person that someone should think of is you, because they consider you to be the guru in that particular field.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Tonge. And I'd like to invite Mr. George now to give us some last minute thoughts, and then also Mr. Jackson before we close.
So for me, I would just say we are in the age of Internet of Things. We are in the age where, your office can be anywhere. It can be on a bus, it can be on a train, it can be at a restaurant. But always make sure that you are protected. And as I said at the start, cybersecurity is not there to stop you. It is there to allow you to explore, but explore safely. So don't be afraid of it.
Yes, thank you very much. And Mr. Jackson?
Yes, thank you. So here at Caribbean Expo, we are big on helping entrepreneurs and businesses accelerate what they're doing, help them to do it better. So reach out to us anyhow, you from our website, or reach out directly to me, in the issues relative to digitalization. And we're also big on building the ecosystem in your own countries. But what I would really like for you to do is to put some demand or pressure on a business support organization. Ask them questions, interact with them so that they could fully understand what the current needs are. So that they can now interact with us and other development players in the region to make sure that they stay relevant and appropriate to your needs. So contact us and we are available, and we would be responsive. Thank you very much. And it was actually a pleasure being on this panel with my fellow panelists. And thank you, Clemview, for excellent moderation.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Jackson. And thank you to all of our presenters. You have all been very thought-provoking and presented some very interesting takes on accelerating digitalization for entrepreneurs in the region. I think that this was the perfect way of doing so by connecting us all over this digital means. And I hope that all those listening have been able to really digest what you said and are able to implement what you have presented today. I'd like to now turn it over to Ms. Winika Romney to do the vote of thanks.
Good evening again, everyone. We thank God Almighty for making this Accelerating Entrepreneurs Through Digitalization webinar possible. We are very grateful for our moderator and panelists for the educational delivery this evening. Thanks to our moderator for the well-articulated panelist introduction and the great engagement in the flow of the question and answer overall program. To our panelists, thanks to all of you for the wealth of information in your areas of expertise. Mr. Phillip Jackson, thanks for sharing with us how to find out where we are on the digitalization journey. Mr. Martin Hanna, thanks for sharing with us how to leverage fintech for revenue growth. Mr. Robert Tonge, it was a pleasure listening to how to improve our business online presence for huge profits. Thank you. And to Mr. Marlon George, thanks for sharing with us the use of cybersecurity and data protection and its importance for businesses. A heartfelt thanks to our audience for your attendance, engagement, and questions and answers. Thanks to our tech team who did an excellent job, seamless job, smooth and accurate execution of this program this evening. We also want to say to you that we accept sponsorship and donorship for all programs that we execute to help our entrepreneurs, and we thank you in advance for that. Lastly, our great Youth Business Caribbean team, thank you for the coordination, the teamwork to make this webinar for all our Youth Business Caribbean entrepreneurs possible. We wish you a wonderful evening, and do pay attention to our evaluation poll that will be positioned on screen in a bit, and you are free to, yes, it's there now. You are free to vote so that we can better help your entrepreneurship in the future. Thanks, everyone.
According to the International Labour Organization, the youth unemployment rate in the Caribbean was 22.6% in 2022, significantly higher than the global average of 14.2%. The Caribbean is a region brimming with young talent and entrepreneurial spirit, but too often, these young people lack the resources and support they need to turn their dreams into reality.
Thanks to SLYBT, I've actually launched my business and turned it into a reality. Their unwavering support and exceptional business planning training has propelled me in many areas and now have received 5 grants.
Youth Business Caribbean is a community of established organizations working together to strengthen the ecosystem for young entrepreneurs in the Caribbean. We believe that young people have the potential to create jobs, drive innovation, and revitalize communities across the Caribbean. That's why we're committed to providing them with the resources and support they need to succeed, including entrepreneurial training, mentorship support, access to capital, and networking opportunities. Our programs continue to support young entrepreneurs achieve their dreams with a focus on creating a Caribbean that fosters innovation and expands the entrepreneurial spirit. If you're a young entrepreneur, corporate partner, or fellow ecosystem changer, we encourage you to get connected with our programs. Together, we can create a brighter future for young entrepreneurs in the Caribbean.
Invest in youth business, invest in the future of the Caribbean.